The Walking Dead will always have a special place in my heart and be one of my favorite television series of all time. I started watching the show 8 years ago while in high school, and I remember the second half of season 5 was just starting to air. Every Sunday night I was so excited to meet up with my friends and go see what Rick and the other survivors would do next. The show has gorgeous cinematography, great action sequences, amazing acting, and really good visual effects. In regards to season 1, a lot of the visual effects hold up quite well today, considering this was the first season of a TV show in 2010. I believe in various parts of the show, it's one of the best written TV series of all time. What I want to do with this video is highlight how the franchise giant came to be and how the television series was created. The Walking Dead franchise started with a comic book series written by Robert Kirkman in the year 2003. The comic ran for 193 issues and ended in 2019. The first season of the show adapts the first 6 issues of the comic books. Something I didn't know is that prior to the show, the comic books were actually quite popular. In 2007 and 2010, the comics won an award for Best Continuing Series at San Diego Comic-Con. The creator Robert Kirkman always toyed with the idea of making The Walking Dead into a TV series, but he never really went for it. That all changed in 2005 when the acclaimed movie director Frank Darabont picked up an issue of the comics. Darabont is known for his work on The Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile, which were certainly advertised. I actually didn't know that before The Walking Dead, Darabont was a huge zombie fan. He references the George Romero movies as being some of his favorite pieces of zombie media. He was at a comic shop in Burbank, California, and was moved by what he saw and read when he picked up the first issue. He says he was drawn to the series because of how character-focused the story was. One of the first thoughts he had was that he wanted to secure the rights to produce a TV show. The production of the series struggled for a couple years as it was really difficult to find a network for the show. Frank Darabont wrote the pilot script, and HBO and NBC were actually 2 networks that passed on The Walking Dead. When producer Galen Hurd received the pilot script from Frank Darabont, she suggested that AMC be the network to produce the series. After the network received Darabont's script, they responded in 2 pretty interesting ways. Firstly, they asked Darabont to split his first episode into 2. This ended up being the first 2 episodes of the show, Days Gone By and Guts. They wanted the pacing and tone to be similar to that of his movies, as well as focus on the characters a bit more. They also ordered the first 6 episodes, which is the entirety of season 1, after reading the pilot. Ordering a season after only reading a pilot script is not common practice in the television business, so it was quite clear that Darabont and Kirkman had something special on their hands. Also, Greg Nicotero was brought on to supervise the makeup and prosthetic department. He's essentially the main force behind all the amazing walkers that we see. One of my favorite things to talk about when looking at the production of The Walking Dead is the casting process. Something I find really fascinating is that Jon Bernthal actually auditioned for Rick and Shane. Andrew Lincoln said he auditioned for 25 roles before landing the role of Rick Grimes. Jon Bernthal said that when Andrew Lincoln walked into one of the auditions, everybody knew that he was the guy. Andrew Lincoln also did another audition where he was sent a portion of the script, he recorded his audition, and then sent it back over to the network. What attracted Lincoln to the project was the ability to show how Rick changes as time goes on. By the time that Norman Reedus found the show and wanted to join, all the roles had already been cast. So even though Michael Rooker was already cast as Merle, Norman Reedus auditioned for the part of Merle just to be seen by the producers. They enjoyed his performance so much that they created the character of Daryl just for him. Glenn actor Stephen Yeun says his story on getting casted as Glenn wasn't a magical one and that he just really needed a job. The casting directors really thought that he captured the essence of Glenn, plus it's pretty cool that he was a fan of the comic books. Melissa McBride, who actually plays Carol, didn't even have to do an audition. Her work in the horror movie The Mist was actually what sold her to the casting directors. Lenny James was actually the first actor to audition for Morgan, and they loved him right away. I think I remember reading that they only waited a couple weeks and then they sent him an offer. I did not know that Laurie Holden, who ended up playing Andrea, was actually asked by Frank Darabont to audition for Laurie early into the show's production. One thing that made the creator Robert Kirkman confident and happy with the castings is how similar they look to their comic book counterpart. Something I know just being a huge fan of the show is that the walkers have to go through walker auditions. However, I didn't realize that this started in the very first season. Since Darabont was such a big zombie fan, he had a very distinct image in his mind as to how the zombies should look, sound, and move. The show filmed from May 15, 2010 to June 2nd in Atlanta. Director of photography Stephen Campbell told American Cinematographer magazine that the series was filmed on 16mm film because it has additional grain in it. He said it adds a bit of that classic horror vibe to the show. There's also a good bit of differences between the comic and the show in season 1. Some of these being the CDC's inclusion, Daryl and Merle's characters, the length of some of the scenes, the Vatos, and more. From all the behind the scenes videos I've seen on the production, every actor and producer said that they felt as if they were filming 6 movies as opposed to a show. The network had a lot of work to do with the Atlanta city officials to close off parts of the city, as well as various streets in the neighborhoods. During the sequence where Michael Rooker was shooting the streets from the rooftops, people actually called the police on him thinking he was a real shooter. The SWAT team came and they had to explain it was all just for a TV show. The first episode aired on Halloween night in 2010 and was renewed for a second season roughly a week later. The critical reception obviously was fantastic, and the show's iconic run had begun. If you guys found this video insightful or entertaining in any way, let me know if you'd like to see a video for Season 2. I know that Season 2's production had a lot more obstacles, so I think it would be a really fun and interesting video to make. Thank you so much for watching.